Oh well.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Real People and Real Estate Podcast, where we talk about the real shit and not about real estate. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Tyra Nicole.
Hey, everybody. I am Nicole Pay, and today we have Keith Simon and Mike Babby, owners of Snap Homes. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Total and different
Tequila.
environment. Tequila, drinks.
Lights.
3 co-hosts. This is the best.
Yeah, we got a big crew here.
We
today.
do.
Yeah, we got a
crew
full
here.
house.
Keith's wife's over here, too, which the camera might pan to you for a minute, so just
Say
so
hi,
you know.
Lori.
You might say hi, everybody. Okay. So typically we start off with, like, hot topics, and I feel like every week we talk about Diddy, but it's hard not to talk about Diddy.
Yeah.
We just do, and...
It's a hot topic.
It's a hot topic right now. Do we have anything? You're like our Diddy expert. Do we have anything new to talk about with him?
Well, yeah, did you guys hear that?
Hear that.
That happens all the time to me. All the time.
But, yeah,
See,
so
there's-
as mentioned a few weeks ago, they did find that they're saying that it was like a date rape drug inside
you
the
posted
baby
that,
oil.
Inside the baby oil. That's
And Tyra
the
did
new.
mention that, like, episodes ago.
You said that at least like 3 or 4 episodes ago that it was
Yeah.
when it was all found
And I
out.
said, just watch.
it was a
and you'll see.
date rape drug found
So wait,
in
the
the
baby oil, when you put it on the skin, it, like, absorbs in the skin?
Or insert in somewhere too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So would they
Allegedly.
tested all the
allegedly.
baby oil?
Well, they said it was
But they
it's
tested all
laced
the-
with it, I guess.
Oh my gosh, this like just keeps getting worse and worse. I don't even understand.
You can get laced baby oil at Costco.
No.
I think Costco said they had nothing. They said they don't
Costco
even
said
sell
they had
baby
nothing.
oil.
They wanted no part
They said we
of
don't even
any of
sell
that.
baby
And thus
oil.
completes Keith Diddy knowledge for the day.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think it's funny, like he actually posted happy birthday to his daughter,
His
but
daughter.
his whole Instagram has been washed. There's only 3
Really?
pictures on his Instagram, and it's all of his children. Like
Yeah.
he completely washed his Instagram. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens with that. Another, I have to talk about it. You guys know our family's diehard Lions fans. Aiden Hutchinson.
Looks like she likes the Lions. too.
Like
He
Yeah.
broke his leg?
his
happened?
tibia and fibula.
Oh.
Like, so you didn't even, Tyra, I
definitely
like,
didn't.
You are so
I'm
like
sorry.
in with Diddy. I am so in with the Lions. I'm just
Okay.
kidding. But
Fill us in.
I know I start talking about football and like we lose all our followers. But it's God, what a horrible loss for the Detroit Lions. And it was so hard to celebrate that win because we finally have another win. We're going into the Minnesota Vikings next week, which that in itself, Vikings are 5-0, and we don't have Aiden.
But they won the last game,
Yeah, but
right?
we beat them by, what was the final score?
Like 49-7. What was it?
47 to 9.
47-9. I had the numbers back.
Ooh.
Like we spanked the pants off of them, which was well deserved after us losing the play calls last year in the playoffs. But either way, though, or the last game of the season last year. But either way, like to go down like that, the kid is just. I mean, he's 24 years old. He's like the heart and soul of the Detroit Lions. So that was like a really.
So is he?
William and I drank a lot that night.
Does that mean he's done? Like
He's done for the season. Well, for the season, he'll be
okay.
back. He's done for the season. He more than likely will not be back. at
Ironically,
Super Bowl.
Dan Campbell is not ruling him out coming back.
He's not.
Which
Well,
is
he-
just insane.
It's
right?
insane to me. Like 4 to 6. Listen, like I just had a high ankle sprain back in July, and I'm just out of my boot, and that wasn't even a break. Mind you, breaks are probably better than sprains. I just got out of my boot last week, but man, to have like metal inserted in his leg.
He'll
And
be
then
back
to-
for the Super Bowl.
Well, that's what they're saying. They're like, don't cut him out for the Super Bowl. But I'm like, I don't even know if I'd want him to play, to be honest
we want
with
him
you.
to play in the Super Bowl. Yes, we
If,
do.
if he's able to play, he's going to play.
He's gonna play.
I mean, when he went down through 5 games, his statistics were like nobody on the field.
No.
He had more pressures by like 15 than any other player in the NFL.
Yeah, he was in line
dominating.
for Defensive Player of the
I
Year.
mean, we didn't just lose the best player. We may have lost the best player on defense, in the entire NFL. And it's
Really?
heartbreaking
It
because
is.
if you're my age and have been a Lions fan for 50 plus years, you're just used to heartbreak, right? Like you're used to Aiden Hutchinson. I was on the field when, the guy got paralyzed, Utley.
Oh, yeah.
I was on the field. I was at the game, that game. I was at the game where the linebacker got paralyzed. And then Eric Andolsek, the year that they won the NFC Central that time. It wasn't the North.
It wasn't North yet.
Yeah, it wasn't the North yet. Eric Andolsek, who was an All-Pro lineman, got run over by a semi-truck.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't even know if I heard about that.
Year, you can look it up.
Have to
The
look that
year
one up.
after Utley was paralyzed, that offseason, Eric Andolsek got hit by a truck. It just seems like when you're Lions, it's
It just follows you.
It just follows
and
you.
I know my husband, I wish he was here because, well, actually, I'm glad he's not because he would talk about this forever. Like, we've sat in those stands with season tickets when they were 0-16. And so, like, to sit in our same seats after last year and now through this year, that was, like, literally, you couldn't even watch the rest of the game. Even I rewatched, you can't unsee that break. I rewatched the video, like, twice, and that was it for me. You can't it literally folded in half. It was it was bad. So I'm sorry.
It doesn't affect our season.
I know. I had to get that out because my heart's been hurting for him and his family, and I don't know if his family was there, but even as a mom who has kids in sports, I couldn't even imagine watching that on TV with your son at 24 years old laying down. I mean, he said I broke it. Like when he was taking his gloves off, he said I broke it. Like he knew he was done. So prayers out to Aiden and our Detroit Lions. We're gonna come back strong. I have a feeling. But okay, I got that out of the way. We're good.
Right,
Let's dive into it.
Snap Homes and
Snap
your guys'
Homes.
friendship. Can you guys bring us to the beginning? How did you guys even meet?
on Craigslist.
Craigslist.
No, that was
Is that
a
a
different
thing
guy. That was
anymore?
Josh Parrish. Shout out to Josh Parrish.
I wasn't expecting that answer. I almost choked on that tequila right there.
Is Craigslist still a
It's still
thing?
around?
It
Is that
is.
still a
That's
thing?
actually
Is
a
it
true
still
story.
thing?
And the guy Josh Parrish, who I give a shout out to, that's how we started everything. But Mike and I met on the basketball court.
Oh, nice.
Ironically, I met more people probably in my professional life on the basketball court than I did on the golf course.
Really?
And you were 18?
I was 18.
18.
So you play basketball?
Yes.
Okay.
We both do. Yeah, I played until
Oh, you still play?
until my knees gave out 3 years ago, and she won't let me play anymore. That one right there.
Yeah,
I get it.
I love the game.
Okay.
I love the game.
Got
Yeah.
you. So we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
So when did that start? When did you start playing basketball?
Yeah, so I'll say that from my perspective of
99.
it, right? Yeah, I was
99.
98. So I was just graduating high school, and my brother played for his good friend who was the coach at Wall Lake Middle School.
Okay.
And so every Thursday we would run our games, and then I would come, and his friends would come. My brother is an excellent player. He was 8th grade at the time. So we would run 5-on-5 for probably about 4 months. And he's like, so, what are you doing after high school? I'm like, I got accepted to, Michigan State and Wayne State. I'm trying to figure out what to do. And he's like, listen, if you can rebound and box me out and get those offensive rebounds and win games, he's like, here's my card. Why don't you come and do mortgages for me? I said, what's a mortgage? I'm like, what's a mortgage?
I'm like,
I'm 18 years old. I'm like, what's a mortgage?
Yep.
He's like, show up at this address on Monday, put a tie on, and I'll teach you everything. And he gave me a chance, and I showed up. I was early that day, and he gave me a chance, and that was something that really just opened up the field for me.
How was your first year in mortgage?
Was back in what?
Excellent.
You said
This is
98.
So
Okay.
We were at Green Tree, which was
Yeah, we
high
were.
They were high interest. They came out of the not out of it, but they expanded from mobile home financing into home financing, and he has an experience level. Manage how many hundreds of millions or billions at the time in mortgage closings. So they brought him out to open up their new offices. And, in 1 year I was making 100 calls a day, talking about something I really didn't know much about.
That's
And-
tough.
You learned fast.
Learn fast
tough.
and, making that many calls every day, you start to learn. And it just really grows your spirit. You understand that even at 18 years old, I was going to college. I decided to go to Wayne State, undergrad in accounting. That was way more fulfilling to me because I was helping people. I was debt consolidation. I was taking people and we were helping them. We were taking, $1,000 payment, reducing their payments and giving them, help every month. So it felt good to help people and we were making money.
Okay.
So it was kind of one of those things where
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it was a win-win. And I was so young too. I was just happy to be doing something like that instead of working where my friends were working or not working and just being broke college students. My first year with him, I think, I made almost $90,000 his first year, 18 years old back
really
then. And that was just something where, it's just really, you learn and you have a lot of great people around you. And when you have a mentor like that, it does really open the doors for you. So, and then I jumped off from there. I went to the broker side of the business and I started to learn the mortgages. And, I stayed in the business ever since. Opened my own brokerage since I was 22.
That's great. That's
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
Tell us your perspective of that story, Keith. What did you
Everybody always have a different
There's always-
perspective.
Here's one of the perspectives he got wrong. He did not get every rebound. Okay, not even close. Right? Like, no, Mike was a strong kid, and I love the fact that he was tenacious. Like, look at the smile, look at the dimples, right? Like, that's how the kid plays basketball. That's how he went through life. And I felt like if we could battle on the basketball court like that, two guys that didn't know each other, if he could come into the business, he was teachable. I saw a guy who was completely teachable and would throw any notions, and he already told you he didn't know what a mortgage was, but he'd throw any notions of what he thought he knew behind it and allow himself to be led. And he did that, right? Like, he stayed with me for a year. We left, and it was more than amiable. He went to not only open his own mortgage, he's like, I'm going to Wayne State to get my law degree, blah, blah, blah. Everything he set out to accomplish, he did. So the story is very true, and it started a friendship that's now 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years, yeah.
So wait, so you guys separated? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you came back? Because you said like you were.
Oh, we've
When
come
did you
back
guys
to each
co-
other
well,
a couple
obviously you
times.
came
Yeah,
back.
we've
So
worked
you
together.
came back and
We've actually worked together a couple times. Actually, the funny part about it is like we kind of went our own direction. I started my mortgage company in 22. I went to law school at night, graduated law school, passed my bar 06. Didn't want to practice law at all. I was making too much money running the mortgage company. Me and my partner, we had about 20 LOs, we had a nice business there at 26 years old.
Yeah.
So I graduated law school.
It's hard to walk away from that.
And then that was 06. So really 08, 09, market crashed. I was like, you know what? To my partner, I'm like, why don't we just start doing these modifications? I have my law degree. I've never used it. We can open up a law firm and start helping people. So we got into that side of it. And then at the time, him and I'm like, hey, I need help with this. Like, we're so busy right now. I'm like, can you just come and help me run sales and just get us more business into the, and so he came out and helped me too with that. And so, we've done many things together, and it wasn't always just about money too. When we did that, I was like, hey, mortgage wasn't that good. People are hurting. Let's help people. And we did. I mean, I did over, probably 1,200 modifications and short sales, just helping people stay in their homes or keep their homes.
Yeah, that was a tough year.
Yeah, I mean, I went from the mortgage business, which was just make money. This is what it is. It's a grind business, and then went to this. We're like, yeah, we're making money, but we were helping people. We were taking.
Yeah, you were truly helping people. You were helping people stay in their home.
Yep.
You were fighting the banks against taking people out. So, that's what I saw from that perspective. And I was in a wilderness from a workplace at the time. And to be able to help people stay in their homes and what Mike was doing was phenomenal. So I wanted to be a part of it.
That's super awesome.
Yeah.
So let's take it back like before. And usually like when we have one guest, we talk about this and we'll kind of touch base. Where did you guys both grow up?
You want to go first?
I can go first.
I might not have time after
Yeah.
you, but go
So I was actually born in Southfield. We moved out to California when I was 2. Come from a family of 6, so we're a big family, 4 boys, 2 girls. We lived out there until I was like 14. Came back to Detroit. We have a really large family here. My dad has 8 brothers and sisters, like 40 first cousins. My mom
So what
has
took
6.
you out to California? What took you guys
You
out
know
to
what?
California?
My dad got into a really bad car accident. Ribs. Winter was not doable. So he's like, you got to go to a warm climate. Went there, bought a business.
Warm climate. You went to the other
He went
side of the country.
Went to San Diego.
Yeah.
Really like the perfect.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything but sunshine and 75 degrees, and you come here like, wait a second,
What is this?
how long does winter last?
Yeah.
So fast forward, we stayed here at 13, and Michigan was a very different place. You're going through the seasons, the people were different, but I grew up in West Bloomfield area, Wall Lake Western for 2 years, and I went to Bloomfield Hills, Andover for 2 years. So I grew up in 2 different perspectives of life, from Wall Lake area to that area. So you kind of see different perspectives, and I think you appreciate more when you see those different perspectives. And I just met him 18. I've just been working, really never stopped, and just continued to, really just look for, really more fulfillment in life. So
Yeah.
Okay. How about you?
I grew up, I was born, we lived in Detroit when I was born. We moved out to Garden City. Typical, city escape for my parents, right? Like, My parents escaped during 67.
So what
68.
age were you when you moved?
I can't say that. I was just born in 67, so you do math. I'm 57 now. We moved out to Garden City, Commerce, spent most of my life in Milford.
Okay.
So, and then lived out of state for 5 years in Wisconsin. And now
Oh, you went to
We've been-
Wisconsin. What was in
The
Wisconsin?
Dells.
I tell you what,
I heard that it's nice, actually.
I
the
can't-
most
again, I take it back to
underrated,
football
the
because-
most the most
I can't.
underrated big city is Milwaukee.
Really?
And I don't even know if you consider it a big city, but I think at one point their population surpassed Detroit. Milwaukee. Is there any music fans in here?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
know-
yeah,
okay.
but
Isn't
like,
there a song
Well, I
like
don't know.
Milwaukee in it?
Well,
I
it
can't
doesn't
remember.
matter what type of music you
Okay.
like. You can Google this. It's called Summerfest. Summerfest is 10 days. It takes place at the end of June through July 4th weekend. It's the world's largest outdoor music festival.
No way.
You cannot name an artist. Well, I'm sure we could come up with some.
yeah,
Very few artists haven't crossed Summerfest
at
grounds.
some point in their career.
Yeah, from every genre that have 10 different stages that relatively go for about 10 shows, 8 to 10 shows a day. It culminates into the Marcus Amphitheater, which is our Pine Knob, right on Lake Michigan. And, it holds about 18,000 people.
Wow.
And it's a great venue. So
When is
Milwaukee-
that?
It's
So next year it's June 19th. I had to look it up because that's what I do. June 19th through July 5th.
Okay.
and it is
Okay.
phenomenal. It used
Oh,
to be
Lainey
when,
Wilson will be there.
it used to be when I was there. It was $10 to get in.
Uh-huh.
And that was for the entire day. You could see as many shows as you want. And you could see the amphitheater show as long as you stayed in the park till 3 o'clock. They'd give you a hand stamp to go on the lawn. You could see Pearl Jam, Britney Spears, whoever else was there, Dave Matthews. I mean, the bands were just incredible.
So it's like multiple days?
Oh, yeah, it's 10 straight
Yeah,
days.
10 straight days.
10 straight
I'm
days
out here
of
like
music
looking it
and
up. We
food.
might have to make that a road trip.
Yeah.
2 miles along the Lake Michigan shoreline. And
I'm
it's
sure it's
really
beautiful.
nice, right?
Yeah, that sounds
And that's
nice.
the one thing, and I don't want to get on a Milwaukee tangent, but Milwaukee has protected their shoreline,
Shout out
right?
to
Like they've
Milwaukee.
done a really good job of protecting their shoreline. There's great public beaches. There is accessibility, and it's just really beautiful.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter what type of food you like, you can find it in Milwaukee. And I would tell you some of the most insane restaurant experiences. I don't know if this is true, but when I was in Wisconsin, and you fast forward even when I left, in Wisconsin, fun fact, you can drink at an establishment if you're 10, if you're with your
What?
parents. Yep. You can drink at any age in Wisconsin.
Not that we're promoting underage
that-
drinking, but
But it's
No, but
crazy.
is that-
Allegedly.
It's crazy.
Is that for real?
Because here's another thing. In Milwaukee or in most counties in Wisconsin, you can't buy alcohol after 9 p.m.
no way, really?
You can't go into 7-Eleven. You can't go into your Kroger. You can't go anywhere and buy alcohol. But yet you can take your child and have a beer with them.
So if
Shout
your
out to
parents
Wisconsin.
Shout out to Wisconsin.
allow it,
I mean, unless you're
Yeah, you
Italian,
have to be with
we start
somebody.
drinking real early.
You have to be with somebody who is of age, and they should be your guardian.
Okay, so you moved
That's
out to
actually quite
Milwaukee and then
interesting.
you
Yeah, that's
came
very
back to
interesting.
Michigan.
I came back. Yeah, I came back, and then I met my wife shortly after that, and we've been married 22 years. And
Congratulations.
how did you
Yeah.
guys meet?
Yes.
That's-
at work.
That's one of our famous
At
questions.
work.
Yeah.
At
work.
work?
Is she a mortgage
Yeah.
as well?
She was. Her and Mike actually worked together.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Way.
Wait, so did you meet her through
So-
Mike?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
So
Like, I didn't know if
who-
he was working
No.
together.
Yeah, so we like to know the story.
Oh, she's gonna
about
kill me.
how it
She's
happened.
like, yeah, I did not know this
and
was
we
gonna happen.
actually
Oh, it is.
have her here
We
too.
like that, yeah.
so
So she can actually
Yeah.
validate.
And we met at work. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
all we get is met
Yeah,
at work.
Did he have a
I-
pickup line? Was there anything good? No pickup line? Like no pass the note, like where you go out with me, check yes or no?
Well, yeah, it took me a while.
You didn't like him at all? See? That's- you didn't-
She
like,
said
what
I
you-
scared her. I was a very intense interviewer. I asked too many
Intense
questions.
interviewer.
Yeah,
Did you interview her?
Wait,
I
yeah.
did, and I love to scare people in interviews. Like if I can make somebody feel, when I say, I think interviewing's become an easy thing, and I want to make people jump through hoops when they interview with me. Why? Because if I think Ty really wants a job and he's willing to jump through hoops, he's going to come back, and that's going to be a great interaction. So I like to ask tough questions to people. You know, like you're asking me right now, how'd you meet? I'm probably turning red. My wife doesn't want me to talk about it. We met at work.
Wait, so were you guys allowed to date like at work? Because I was gonna say there's gotta be. Wait, I'm like gonna get there. There's way more to this story.
I don't think there was any policy against it.
There wasn't
right?
policy?
No. And then we both left the company shortly after that, and then
The rest is history.
the rest is history. Yeah, 22 years.
22 years later.
22
Congratulations.
years of absolute bliss.
Yeah, that's great.
She starts laughing.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
I'm at 17.
That's
I
what
get
I'm
it.
supposed to say.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Right.
So we still live in the area now. We live in Livingston County in a town called Fenton, and we love it.
Okay.
Oh, you live in Fenton. Love Fenton.
Heard of
Very
Fenton.
cool. So, like, fast forward, what made you, Keith, get into the line of business that you were? Because obviously we know when you met Mike, he was 18. But where did this all start for you?
So I was at the University of Michigan, and I had a terrible experience at the University of Michigan. My parents had actually, she's going to kill me and go, no stories. My parents had actually bought my brother and I a house at the University of Michigan, and the house ended up falling under code. We had 6 people that lived in the house with us, and we had to refund all their rent. Well, I was a junior. My brother was a freshman. My parents loved my brother more than they loved me. So all the burden fell upon me. She's like, it's true. All the burden fell upon me. So here I am. My brother is, when I say this, shout out to Kurt Simon. My brother is a certifiable genius. He's probably the smartest man you ever talk to, and sometimes he knows that. But it's like we had a French class together that my brother never picked up the book. And I, like we did 28 pages the first day, and I was like overwhelmed. I'm like, are you done? He's like, yeah, I know this stuff. So school was really easy for him, and all this responsibility of the house fell upon me. So I was actually ready to go out to California and move out with some friends. And a friend of my mom said, hey, in the summer, come work for me at a company called Household Retail. Nobody knows the name right now, but Household Retail still handles all the private label financing for Best Buy, Gardner White. At the time, Highland Appliance was a big one, Ethan Allen. And so I said, sure, I'll do collections for a few months, earn a few dollars. That propelled into a 4-year stint with Household Retail. Ended up moving into Household Finance, which is kind of like Green Tree and Conseco, that we went to a higher interest rate. And I never left the business until 2008 when the market crashed. Yeah.
How did it affect you in 2008?
It affected me. It affected me because there was chaos in the industry, and there was also a little chaos in our life. And so Dodd-Frank came in, and it changed the lending landscape. And so I went from being an institutional lender with Wells Fargo to moving into more of a creative space of doing whatever I could. I was working with some hedge funds in the area. We were doing private label stuff. We got into all kinds of stuff. But what it did is it created a path where I didn't re-enter the mortgage space for 9 years. 9 years. So I went from 2008 to 2017 before I got back in it.
Wow.
Did that whole being in the mortgage industry, did that whole year leave you with a different perspective of what you were doing? Or like what was your reason for walking away and leaving a space of 9 years and not coming back?
Some of that is really sordid and personal, but it was just a matter of there wasn't a right company that fit where I was in my life at the time. I'm grateful for it because it taught me different skills. I got into marketing and I worked within radio stations and developed some campaigns for very successful people in real estate that ended up becoming partners in other ventures with me. So I was really grateful for the experience, although at the time, not so much.
I mean, I think we can all look at that. Like sometimes a loss ends up being a future gain.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
for sure. So it does
For you.
happen.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
So I really do. We don't talk about real estate on this podcast, but we kind of have. But I do want to talk about what you guys do because
Sure.
we talked about it a little bit before. This is a different type of real estate that we've had on this podcast. So let's talk about Snap Homes for
Okay.
a minute. How did it start? Where did you guys get together and come up with this?
Okay, I'm going to ask Lori, can I give him a shorter, long version?
We like
Okay.
stories. We want stories. We
right.
want all the stories.
So I'll say the same thing I said on a podcast I was on last week. So I was going through something. We owned part of a title company. And at this title company, I had an employee leave. And it was a friendship, and it was a friendship that kind of hurt me the way he left. Not that he left, right? Like, he left for a better opportunity, but it was in what he took for me that kind of hurt me. And so this may sound hokey, and I apologize. I stayed up till 3 o'clock that morning and that night. I couldn't sleep. And what he took wasn't that great. What was left was not that big of a hole, but it felt like it to me, and it felt like my world was crumbling. So I had to go through a period that night of forgiveness for what was. And again, he didn't hurt me that much. I interpreted this hurt a lot worse. I fell back asleep, and this process of what we do literally was downloaded to me. And I say that because the person running my title company had run a similar business before, and he had wanted to talk to me about it, but we never really kind of partnered up and mirrored up and had the conversation. But in a matter of an hour, this entire process was downloaded to me. So I felt like I understood it. And then fast forward to a couple days later, I was at a friend of mine's office in Detroit. He had a realtor open house, and I was telling him about it and telling some other realtors about it. They're like, this is a great idea. Let's go. That was April. Fast forward to today, we're officially up and running. And so the concept of Snap Homes, and then Mike can fill in and we can talk to you how we got back together. The concept of Snap Homes is simple. What we do is we take people that are approved for mortgages and make them cash buyers. You say, why? Well, because right now there's a lot of frustration in the marketplace. You're all realtors. Have you had any of your buyers lose out on a multiple offer situation? Have you had any buyers lose out on a cash situation, right?
Yes.
Have you had any buyers that didn't get their thing accepted because there was too many contingencies? Cash solves a lot of that, right? Like, now the point is what I call death by math. 30%, according to NAR, of our purchase business in the United States through September was cash. In Michigan,
wow.
we did
That's a really
$44
high
billion
number.
in real estate last year. That amounts to $14 billion in cash, right? Startling figures, but it holds up in everywhere. Here's the more startling thing. So 30%, that means 1 out of every 3 houses residential is going to a cash buyer. I don't know if you see that, but we certainly do in other marketplaces. Of that 30%, the total makeup is 18% of cash purchase, or 18% of the real estate is purchased with cash by institutional investors, people that own 10 homes or more. That means your buyers are not competing with your buyers. They're competing against Wall Street. They are competing against BlackRock, Vanguard, Stone Street, who own 1 out of every 3 homes in the United States. You buyers will never have that power, right? So one of the things, we wanted to help buyers with frustrations. And then when we started diving into this, right, again, the death by math. So this is a really cool study, and you can find it on our website at getsnaphomes.com. The FDIC did a study from 1987, and then they recommissioned it out to 2022. And they said that a person who buys a home with cash pays 11% less over this 35-year period than somebody who pays for it with a mortgage.
I believe
I
it, but
mean,
a lot
I
of
was gonna
people's
say-
initial reaction is, okay, it's a hard cash lender. They're going to charge me way more in interest,
Right.
and that's what freaks them out. And I'm sure that's what your guys
Yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
say we are not a hard money. The
Yeah.
whole basis of what we do is dependent on you, Brooke, being a good mortgageable customer. If you don't have the ability to get a mortgage, we're not the fit, right? We're not hard money. What I like to say is we're good money fast. We help you come in and compete against everybody else, right? So, in real quick, we did a study, and I think that GMAR showed that through September, the Michigan market was at about 101.8% of asking, right? So $100,000 house, average price is going for 101.8
Yeah.
in almost all markets.
Yeah.
All right. So we did a random study of cash homes in Wayne, Oakland, Washtenaw, Macomb, and Livingston to see if we could test this theory. Livingston County had the lowest cash savings at 7.8%. Wayne was at 17.9.
Wow.
Oakland was at 22% off list price. And I'm talking about prices that are listed at 1.4 that are going for $850,000. I'm talking about a 1.9 that went for $900,000, right? Why is this happening? Well, you deal with buyers, you deal with sellers. Sellers go through a mortgage, accept an offer, 1 or 2 mortgages down the road, it doesn't go through, and now they've got to go. So we did the study, 130 properties. I think it averaged 14.8% over those 130 properties. That people are getting off list price in a market in a state that's 101.8.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a huge swing, right?
Yeah, that is a huge.
That's a huge swing.
And you wouldn't think so much even in that type of county that you think that they would be on that 101%.
Yeah.
Like you think they would be on the higher end.
Yeah, and we didn't. All we did was take the cash offers that were either at or below asking. And I could tell you, like Livingston County had 5 new builds that were at 0% off list price because they were listed for, $500 and they sold for $500. They put it on the market when they listed it, right? We saw some similar anomalies in Wayne County. But that's startling to me because we can read reports all day and I can spout all the stats, but to see it happen in our backyard and as we get transactions coming through, seeing the real live equity that people are saving immediately off doing a transaction.
That's crazy. So what brought you two back together to curate this Snap Homes idea or to make it into fruition?
So he approached me. Well, so I guess it was.
Were you guys playing basketball?
We were.
Okay, just wondering.
Nerf hoop in the office.
Yeah, so he actually got me back into the mortgage business in 2020?
2021 maybe.
2021?
Yeah.
So
COVID time.
started working for
Great.
we started
Literally,
working
2008 was a crash and then coming back in 2020.
yeah.
But that was crazy for the mortgage. That was
oh my
crazy
gosh, that was
mortgage
insane.
loans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were killing it in mortgages back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Interest
right?
rates 2%. I seen like
Forget it.
1.9%.
That's when I bought my house. Although,
1.98.
and not to get on the whole thing, but it's unfortunate because I did buy during the COVID years,
Right.
and I can't go anywhere.
Right, it makes it very hard, doesn't it? I mean,
I'm never going to
Why
find
would you?
2.75%
Nope.
for a very long time, if ever again. So, honey,
Well,
we're forever.
we had never seen it before, right?
Yeah.
The likelihood that we'll ever see.
Ever
I mean,
happen,
if we ever go under 5 again for a
Well,
long period of time,
the
it's
government's
going
not
to be
going to let that happen.
right. It's just not.
It's
gonna
just not going to
happen.
happen. So, okay, back to
So go ahead,
2020, you came back into the mortgage world.
In 2020, he got me back into the mortgage world. Said, hey, a company out of Ann Arbor. He was starting a title company with them, and said, why don't you come over? And we started having lunch with the CEO and said, hey, what do you want to do with us? Get back into it. And so they started a wholesale division.
Okay.
I started running sales on their wholesale side, built a team up, started with 0 brokers, built it up to 2,500 brokers in a matter of about 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yep.
That's great.
That's
So-
impressive.
Yep. So
Congratulations
we
on
did
that.
well.
Mike's a stud.
We did
How?
well.
Congratulations on that.
The question is how? How
You
did
know
you
what?
say
I had-
that?
You said
I had-
25. I thought we were just going to 25, and you're like
Dimples. Look at
2,500.
those dimples. Look at those dimples in
I had
front
a
of
great
anybody.
team. I had a great team. My team, phenomenal. I mean, they really just, they worked their tails off. They listened. They wanted it. They're young, but they were persistent. And same thing, like he saw that in me. So I always,
Exactly,
I
that's
always
what I
did
would
the
say
same thing. They're younger
about those guys.
Yeah.
I always tried to get back to younger guys. They didn't go to college. Like, you know what? We're going to take the work life. And I said, I respect that. I have an accounting degree and a law degree, but I respect that. The fact that you're willing to just bet on yourself. And I said, so if you're willing to do that and so I trained them and worked with them. And it was, we had our roadblocks and we had our building times. And last year, me and the company, we parted our ways. My team stayed over there, and I still had I have a real estate brokerage too, so we have a small brokerage. We do a lot of our own investments as well. So we do a lot of flips. We do other type of rentals. So I've been in real estate really since when I was 21.
So do you do that through your law degree?
So we have a law firm. We have a law firm, Babby Legal, within our offices, and then Babby Realty, which runs. We do some residential, some commercial. We do a lot of our own investments between me and my brother's family. So we've done a lot of syndication deals for years. Whether it's flipping homes or retail or any other type of properties, anything we can make equity, and we've been doing that since we were doing the short sales. We've been buying them. So that kind of just like stuck, and we'll do multiple properties per year. So he approached me in April and said, what do you think of this idea? And I said right away, well, I love it. And I think it's something that the market needs. I mean, we have a couple buyer agents. It was something where, hey, there's a problem. This solves that problem. It's not for every buyer. It's for the buyers that need to move quickly. It's for the buyers that, they've lost out on 5 homes. I mean, my brother right now, I'm trying to find him a property. We looked at a house in West Millfield, $550,000, and they had 10 offers on it.
Yeah.
And I realized, I'm like, look, you're going to be way over asking on this. He said, I just didn't think it was worth it. But we were using Snap Homes for him, and it does work. I mean, the realtor is now, the listing agent is now, okay, you're cash, you're one of 2 cash offers, out of 9 offers. I think it was 9 they ended up having, and he just, it started to get too high.
At least he was in the running.
He was in the running though, and he decided to pull out, which
Yeah.
it needed some other stuff. How these homes are, and things are going crazy in some areas. So the need is there, and really, if the need's there, then you'll see a continuation of this. Where look, even I'm sure you all have buyers that you've worked with. If you've worked with a buyer for longer than 60 days or lost a couple deals, this is something they would probably be open to.
Well, and I would say that we started this because of the frustration of buyers in the market. But, the thing as I talk to our realtor partners now is let's avoid frustration. Let's get somebody qualified and get them a cash offer in hand before they even lose out on a house, right? Because, look, to start and get us to approve you for a cash offer costs you $0. If you never get a house with us, it costs you $0, right? There is no downside from looking at how you can leverage, our money. That's really it. So, I just wanted to make that point because the frustration is huge, and I want to play on that frustration. I want to help people that are frustrated because
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Sorry,
No,
I was just.
no, you
I'm
go.
just curious because you got me curious now.
Yeah.
So how does this exactly work? If someone wants to be a cash buyer, what do they need to do?
Well, there's 2 ways that person's normally going to come to us. One is through you as the realtor. You're going to say, I have a buyer that'd like to get pre-approved for cash. What we're going to do then is go to one of our mortgage partners and have them get pre-approved. After our mortgage partners pre-approve this, then we're going to take that and we're going to issue a cash approval. If they already have a house, we're going to look at the house. We're going to do, a valuation, just make sure that it's, it's good. We're going to look at the approval, and then we're going to issue the cash and the proof of funds. At that point, we go back to you, and you're going to negotiate the offer on the house for them.
I'm sorry. I am so.
I have so many questions.
I have so many questions because
I feel like a lot.
I really want to swear right
Yeah.
now, but this is freaking genius.
But in their minds, they're thinking, okay, this can't be real. The wolves.
Right,
being pulled over.
what's the
catch? Where's the
See, and that-
but
that-
listening to you talk like this, because and I'm sorry to interrupt you because I was
please.
thinking about this too, and I was going to ask you guys, do you feel, because of what I even said and when it came out, and then I heard you talk, Mike, about how you finding a house for your brother. For my situation, it is. I'm on, I live in the country. I'm on 2 acres. I'm in a beautiful home. I can't leave my house. There's no way I can leave my house because we bought during COVID.
Right.
Are you seeing that do you think that's part of why we're in the market that we are in? Because so many people were pick up, let's move during COVID, and for us it just happened. We were renting and we bought a house, so we didn't have to sell a house, but the people we bought from couldn't find a house, and they actually bought their house sight unseen because of what was happening during COVID. Are we now seeing those effects?
Yeah, for sure.
In the market?
So what the government came out with is they said in 2024, this is June of 2024, less people qualified to be a homeowner than at any point since 1962, I think it was.
What?
So go
are
back
we
to
in
that and think about.
qualifications,
We're taught they don't qualify because of high interest rates, high debt
Okay.
rates, right?
see that.
High housing prices.
High
Yeah,
housing prices,
everything's-
yeah.
Furloughed. Everybody was
Okay.
furloughed
Oh,
and
yeah.
lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So in
COVID.
Michigan, you can get an FHA loan for $598,000.
Yeah.
In California, in some counties, it's 1.2 million, almost 1.2
Wow.
million. Now tell me, who can afford that house?
Yeah.
A first-time home buyer that can go in and walk in and pay a house at 1.2 million, and then knock down 25,000 in property tax a year. People just can't qualify for housing, right? I mean, have you? I don't know if you've
true.
shopped in the 500,000 range. It's shocking what 500,000 gets you today just versus when
Yeah.
you bought a house
Absolutely.
2 years ago.
Absolutely.
So I think we're seeing the effects of that.
Inflation and
And what
all
is
of that.
what is the incentive for you to ever move from 2.75%?
There is none.
Like,
Never.
even at
But
5%.
even when I bought our house for the equity, we have over $250,000 in equity just from we bought in October of 2020.
Yeah.
So we're over $250,000. There's nothing at this point.
But even if you buy, you keep it and rent it.
I mean, that's the thing.
with it.
But
That's
the
people are
problem
doing
is,
it.
like, and that's what my husband had talked about. He's like, what if we were to
Yeah.
just go ahead and bite the bullet and
Yeah.
sell this house? And I'm like, and go where?
But one
Right.
less house on the market though too. So
Yeah.
plus ones. You have the houses
Yeah.
all going plus one, and we don't have.
Do you find that
units.
more that people are doing that though, and like keeping the houses too, renting them, and then trying to buy something else so that there's not as much?
If they can get
Inventory?
qualified,
Yeah.
I mean, if they can get
I didn't
qualified,
think it was a
right?
qualification issue. I really thought
It's
it
a
was an
huge
inventory
qualification.
issue.
Oh,
You
it's-
gotta
it's all
qualify
the
with
above.
both mortgages.
Well, no, I know that, but I
thought.
thought it was an inventory issue. Like I thought we were like for me, I know I have a couple of buyers right now. We're facing inventory issues,
Absolutely.
like not so
Absolutely.
much
That's what it
qualification.
is.
So I wasn't. That
It's
shocked me when you
qualifications
said
all across the
qualification.
board.
Absolutely.
Even with leasing.
Absolutely.
It's been hard to qualify people.
I didn't put that in
It's
perspective.
Yeah,
it's
Tell us
also the
about that,
hardest
Brooke.
time.
yeah, it's really bad.
It's the most
that's a-
expensive and
that's a
hardest time
half-hour
ever to
story.
rent
It's
an
never
apartment
been
or a
this
house.
bad. It's never been this bad.
I'm renting out an apartment complex
Uh-huh.
in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting at 10% occupancy right now.
We just had this conversation
Wow.
at our.
It's
we
'cause
had a
of the
meeting.
inflation.
Yeah.
But in our defense, we opened 2024,
Okay.
spring of 2024, 10% occupancy, and I can guarantee you every single apartment downtown Detroit right now is offering at least 1 month free of rent.
Wow.
Yeah. It's all of this
It's
that's
been
going on
2
right
months.
now is the effects of COVID. Like to
I
me.
think so, yeah.
Because
for
I
sure.
saw like the whole thing happen during COVID of everything.
Are we
that
heading
was
towards
happening.
another like 2008, 2009? Like, are we?
No.
I don't think it'll be
No,
that.
I
not
don't think
that
that'll
it's-
never
I don't
We'll see
happen
correction.
again.
I think we'll
But
see correction.
Yeah,
You think so?
Yeah, with the political
But
and
it won't be
everything else.
that. It won't be 2008,
Yeah.
2009.
No.
I mean,
I mean, I
It'll
don't
be
think we'll
different.
see that again,
It'll
but
be
I don't think we'll
different.
see. We'll never
I mean-
see COVID again either. Like, I think
but
that.
prices, I just don't see prices coming down.
No.
Like
well,
on even like just groceries. Like I'm talking
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
just real estate. I mean
Just
like
in
everything.
life.
Life hack, shop at Aldi.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Aldi's the best.
Aldi's
Do you know
the best.
Aldi's is owned by Trader Joe's?
Yep.
Did you
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know
I
that.
did not.
Aldi's
But Aldi
is
doesn't
owned-
always
Fun
have the
fact:
best.
I've never been to Trader Joe's.
Really? Oh
I don't know
gosh.
what that
It's
is,
a
really.
trap. You'll never go.
You'll never
wanna- yeah,
We
you'll
like
never wanna
will
shop
drive. I
elsewhere.
think
You're like,
actually is the one in Westland is where was it Westland? I don't know. I don't
There's
remember.
one like in Novi or
Is
something,
it
right?
Novi?
Or
Maybe close.
Northville.
Like, I live in the
something
country
like
now. There is no Trader Joe's out
Oh.
by where I live, but that's like once you go to Trader Joe's and Aldi
have
is
to try that.
just as addicting. Especially
I think
$2 wine. I'm just saying.
Do you still have to pay for
That I know
bags?
when-
$2
Don't you have to
wine.
pay
you
for
bring your
bags?
own bag.
Have you ever had
Can't even
just
imagine.
bring your
the
own bag.
best $2 wine you've ever had in
That
your
turned me
life?
off.
It's not in a box. They actually put it in a
Dinos.
bottle.
We've been there.
So
We're
good.
like, yeah,
There's
back
a little
off.
owl. I think
Boone's
it's called
Farm.
Owl.
What?
$2.99 wine at Aldi's. It's the owl.
Oh.
I don't really buy alcohol, so.
Well,
Well,
We got
Walmart.
10
Oh,
minutes
they're
left.
better than Walmart.
I do.
Because
10 minutes
Walmart
left.
had well, they used
$2.99
to.
Let's go
wine
another-
is
let's go another
delicious.
half
They used to have $3.99 at
Okay.
Walmart.
Really?
So we really
Sorry.
want to
It was
plug
good.
October best.
October best.
October
Let's
best.
talk
Let's
about
talk
it.
about it.
Fest. I kept saying
Me too.
October.
So-
Yeah, I kept saying fest too.
October best is my wife and I have been doing panels for the better part of 7 years. I think we've been part of 30 some panels. And it's always been, no matter where I was, part of my heart to want to get back to the real estate community, right? Like whether I was in mortgage title, we did panels as a way to give education away. I worked for a guy, he's going to be on the panel, and he taught me a lot about education. He gave a lot of stuff away for free and tried to empower the community. So we did these panels, and what we had found is, fast forward 7 years, our panels were getting smaller and smaller. And whether it's because the agents had decreased in the market or just the information had already been out there. So we decided after our last one that Robert was on, a great panel, he did a fantastic job, that we were going to have a different type of event. So we have October Best, which is 8 realtors, 4 mortgage loan officers. And the 8 realtors will go head to head against the 4 loan officers eventually, but we're going to come down until we'll have individual competitions between these realtors and these mortgage loan officers, and it's who's good at handling objections. So the difference of this is you've got 1 minute to handle your objection. If in 1 minute you haven't handled it, mic shut off, you're done. It's debate style rules. We don't want to hear from you anymore. You're done. So for a lot of these realtors who love the gift of gab, it's going to be difficult. And the final 2 rounds, when it's realtor versus realtor, mortgage versus mortgage, it then goes to like a voice style scoring. We will use audience and decibel meter simply to judge the winner. And then the October best will be decided when the finalist in real estate comes against the finalist in mortgage. They will have to answer objections in each other's fields, and then the audience will decide who's going to win.
This is
This is
what
like
goes
an intense,
on
like,
at
family
the.
feud.
This is
This
what's
is what
going on in
goes
this
on
event.
there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and it's
You got me excited. Like, I just want to
interesting.
And we've, Robert helped us with the Garden Theater. It's a phenomenal event. We're
Beautiful
so
place.
excited to be
Yeah.
part of it. We've got some great food. We're gonna pump people full of alcohol so that they really get
Come on,
into
come
Let
on
me
it.
know when to
Come
be
on out.
there.
We'll be
It's
there.
October
Tyra
22nd.
October 22nd, starting at
I
11
will.
a.m.
What's that?
Yeah.
11 a.m.
Tyra,
Yeah, 11
let Tyra and I
a.m.
know.
Doors open.
Yeah, we'll definitely be there.
Competition will start promptly at
Sold.
12:15, and you're gonna have a lot of fun. Right now, our registration is pushing 150-ish.
It sounds
We
like I like
expect
the
that we'll get
intensity
I
of
like
it.
200
that.
people.
Yeah.
I do know that some people that are on it are flying people in from other states to see it, some of their leadership. And what the cool thing is so we've started with the Super Bowl. October Best is going to be a championship every year. We've got a wrestling belt that says October Best that
Stop
the winner
it.
will
That's
have for a
great.
year,
I
right?
love that.
should be in tomorrow. Lori spent a lot of time
I
designing
love that. That's so
And-
much fun.
So then we'll have quarterlies, 3 other quarterlies leading up to this, and October Best will be the finals next year. And we've got a lot of realtors and mortgage people saying, how can I be a part of this event?
Yeah.
And that's what we want to create. We want to create buzz, good, friendly competition within this. And you know what? These people that come out are really awesome. You'll find that you're going to have mentors that you didn't have before, people that will answer your questions. It doesn't matter if you're EXP, Keller Williams, Epic, Independent. This is a community that comes together to help each other. And I've seen it for 7 years. We've had, thousands of people attend our events, and I can't wait for this one. It's exciting.
So that's how long you've been doing it? 7 years.
We've been doing panels. This is the first one we've
this
tried.
the first one.
First one we've tried this. So
Something
believe
new.
me, there's a lot of panic as Lori's our chief creative. And I mean,
No, it
we're-
sounds great. It sounds
Well,
There's a
really,
lot.
It's gonna be
because
fun.
this will air. When is the
The 22nd.
22nd? So this will air
Tuesday, October
Oh, my daughter's
22nd.
When will
birthday.
this air? This will
Well,
air
well,
next
Come
Monday.
celebrate your daughter's
Get the
birthday
food.
at Oktoberfest.
So you know what?
We'll get to the Evite.
The 22nd
It's on Eventbrite.
Actually, it's on Tuesday.
It's under
I was gonna
October
say,
Best.
Yep, put it out there really quick.
And I
because
do want to
we'll do a
say
reel
it's
on this.
October Best with a K. OKTOBERBEST. October Best event. It's all over Eventbrite. I know Robert's posted it. I post every day with the people who are participating. We're just really excited because I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll make sure
It's-
we get the link too and post it
Yeah.
on our podcast
It's
for sure.
definitely a creative.
And Snap Homes. What? Oh, Get Snap Homes also has the event. I'm like, what? What about Snap Homes?
What's that?
We have this thing all the
Company
time.
I own?
I can't read lips for the life of me, and she always tries to give me social cues.
I'm
and
bad
like,
with that
huh?
too.
She need the cue cards.
bad with
like,
Yeah, I
that.
do need a cue card. So it's also on getsnaphomes.com, which is our website. Realtors, mortgage people, you can go in and get approved to be, part of our partner group as well.
This
That's
is
super exciting.
the twist on a networking event we need because
Yeah.
I feel like networking events, us realtors and mortgage loan officers get invited, and it's just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need some excitement. So
Yes.
this is going to be a great event.
Yes.
I want
I'm
to
excited
end.
just listening about it.
I want to end on one question for both of you guys. Can you tell us your craziest mortgage story?
Craziest mortgage story. Does it have to do with a mortgage?
No, it's
No.
just whatever comes to your head.
No.
Are you
Yeah.
going to be mad if I tell them okay.
Just don't talk about me.
This is she won't be involved, but she will say, "I told you not to tell the story." So I am working for a company called Wells Fargo back in 2006. I am vice president. Happy to have that job, and I had this guy working for me, who was the greatest loan officer in the world. He always had problems with the man, though. I mean, he would always push up and self-sabotage himself. And the Super Bowl was here in 2006. And he comes to me and says, I'm going to the Super Bowl as a member of the media. And I'm like, come on, man. No, you're not. And because I'm a volunteer for this event, I'm like, you're not going. Fast forward to Super Bowl, guy who always has problems with the man is at every party, Pepsi Smash, Playboy, Maxim. He goes to the Super Bowl, Pittsburgh, Seattle, and he's on the sidelines. And just to show, again, he'll tell you this. His dad was a union steward, so he always was bucking up against management. But just to show you that he was so like, I beat the system. He takes a picture of himself in the end zone with a disposable camera. That's how he shot the Super Bowl. And here's my mortgage part of the story. I'm still a vice president at Wells Fargo, and in 2006, the Detroit Tigers made it to the American League Championship Series. They had played in Oakland, and Bruce comes to me and says, "We're going to the ALCS as members of the media." And I'm like, "No way." And I'm like,
Not again.
So this is me, though, experience it. And I would go through, and we go through Comerica, Mr. Simon, Mr. Gerard, here's your press passes. And sure enough, for games 3 and 4, we enjoyed a seat in the press box, all access pass. When Maglio Ordonez hit the home run, 15 minutes later, they let us out there. Whether you're a fan of Kwame Kilpatrick or not, he was the mayor at the time, and Kwame and I were celebrating on the pitcher's mound with Al Kaline. Then we go into the locker room, and I was a guy who was definitely afraid of losing my job as vice president of Wells Fargo. So that's my craziest mortgage story. What?
Did you have a disposable camera?
No, we were actually there as writers. If I can,
So did you pull out your paper?
well, here's the kicker of the event that I didn't tell is that we also got our media pass for the World Series. And as we're, she's like, "I'm going to kill you, Keith." As we're going to the media store, they're like, "Mr. Simon," they're like looking for this is me, them looking for media passes. "Mr. Simon, Mr. Gerard, we can't find your media passes. They must be across the street with our other tent." 7 guys in suits, Major League Baseball security, are there to escort us away. "Mr. Simon and Mr. Gerard, you need to come with us." They couldn't verify our employment because it didn't exist. It was a free paper called the Flint Township News. Every area has it. It's an 8-page free paper that he applied for media passes for. Right? And
Stop it.
so he spent about an hour with Wayne County Sheriffs. I spent about 10 minutes because he stuck to his story like he was part of it. Shout out, Bruce. But it propelled a thing called the Detroit Independent that lived on in infamy, and we attended most sporting events and concerts we ever wanted to attend.
That's hilarious.
But it was a mortgage story. So.
All right. So, Mike, you had a little bit too long to think about that question because we like to pop it up. What is one thing nobody knows about you? What's like something that
We haven't asked that.
we haven't asked that in a while?
Yeah.
What would be something nobody knows?
That nobody knows.
Or like, I mean, maybe like your close people, but like, what would be something that if people would be shocked to hear about you if they were to watch this podcast?
I don't know if it's too. I'm pretty out there. Got 3 kids, wife, married 18 years, so I don't think there's anything really too shocking.
Like, do you have a hobby or like that? If anyone would be like, Mike does what? Mike
Crochet.
knits? What?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Mike knits? What are you talking
okay,
about?
I'll give you a good one. Then.
Okay.
So, when I was in high school, when I transferred from Wall Lake Western to Bloomfield Hills, Andover, I had no art credits. We didn't need art credits at Wall Lake Western, but I finished all my math credits. 2 hours algebra 2 was done. So I go to this new school, like, "Hey, you need six art credits to graduate." So I'm like, "All right, how do I get an easy A?" And she's like, "All right, just do pottery." And so I was stuck in pottery. We have block scheduling, so I was stuck in pottery for like 3 hours.
Oh, jeez.
And so I'm just sitting here.
Your parents had some great bases.
Yeah. So it was really one of those things where and the teacher was one of the easiest teachers. You make 3 pieces, and he pretty much gives you an A if you actually try, and you're done. So I'm there for 3 hours every day. So I just started getting on the potter's wheel every day. It's messy. It's fun. So within like 4 months, I become like a
We all
potter.
have to go
I become like a
doing
potter
this.
wheel expert.
Everyone had
Come
3.
on,
Mike had
literally-
52.
I'm literally making pots this big, competing with my teacher at the time.
that's funny.
And then that was my junior, and I still had to take 3 more my senior year. My senior, I started to get like really good at it. He
like,
submits.
what?
He submits.
Did you know this?
So he
Did you
submits
not
my
know this?
name.
This is great.
So my teacher, on his own, submits my name into this like scholarship to get into an art school, which I was not going to art school. I was going to business school.
Yeah.
And he is this massive scholarship that if you win it, you get like a 4-year full. I'm like, I
Wow.
cannot take that. I need one of these guys really want it. So he actually put my own like vase, and he put a couple of my pieces in the Birmingham Art Fair, and they actually got offers on them to buy them, but they
What?
wouldn't.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So I actually still have a bunch of them, but I really, I really haven't done much of it since I left high school. But that's something.
That's actually
Okay, because I was about to
That's
ask, can you make me a vase?
Yeah.
We are we're running a promotion at Snap. Anybody who does a transaction gets a vase.
It's a vase made by Mike.
I'll tell you what
I love
happened
a
with my
vase.
teacher. So I used to make these vases. They were very they kind of looked like bongs, but I wasn't trying to make bongs. And
Kind of.
we had a couple.
Okay, Mike.
We had a couple.
Wait,
we had-
alleged-
yeah.
allegedly.
We had a couple
Allegedly.
kids that started breaking them, see if they can put a hole.
Oh.
So my teacher was like, all right, he bought me my own cabinet, had a key and a lock. So all my stuff went into there, and then I wasn't able to make bongs for anybody.
You know, you started a whole side hustle making bongs in pottery class.
In school.
In
That's
school.
so funny.
Whole side hustle.
Yeah, so
started
fun.
young. Very cool.
So I guess my question is, we didn't talk a lot about you guys' childhood, but is it anything that you would tell your younger self?
Yeah, take all the risk. I'm always been a risk taker, and
clearly you were in pottery.
yeah. One thing for me is take more risks. Take the risk. I think that you regret the risk you don't take more than the risks you do take. So I would tell my younger self, take more. And I took a lot of risks. So my mortgage company at 22, I took risks, but I wish I took even more.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I would
How about
say
you?
don't let failure define you. I had failed a lot and sat in failure at times and just let it define me. So I would tell my younger self, don't let failure define you.
That's
Love
great
it.
advice. I think a
Yeah.
lot of our younger generations need to hear that because we're in a definitely, especially the taking risks, because I think we're in a very different world with electronics and stuff like that. And I think we get so locked into, our phones and in the electronic world that you forget there's a whole bigger world out there that you need to embark on. So awesome. You guys, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
This
you.
was awesome.
Great surprise.
Pleasure
Thank you.
Very
having
cool.
you.
all.
Yeah, we appreciate you having us.
Yeah, make sure you
Yes.
attend October
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 Best.
best.
October Best.
And we will
Tuesday,
definitely
October
Next
22nd.
22nd. We will definitely grab that link from you, put it in our podcast,
Great.
and then make sure when we promote it, and then getsnaphomes.com.
That's it. GetSnapHomes.com.
Didn't have to practice that once.
No.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you guys for tuning back into the Real Estate Phone and Real Estate Podcast. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Oh my head
It's a
was
wrap.
sweating.
Hey,
Wow.
you ladies are really good at this.
You're really good
Oh,
at it.
thank you.
This is my first podcast.
You guys,
Yeah.
Really?
you guys play off
Yeah.
each other very nicely.
You're like a natural.
We have such
Yeah.
a like.